Hello, my name is Amit Jain, Senior Director of Product Management with ServiceMax from GE Digital. And today I'm going to talk about the challenges field service companies have with parts management. But I'm also going to share some ways on how leading companies currently digitize their parts management for improved operations and what role ServiceMax plays in enabling this improvement. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about parts visibility and why the lack of visibility into the movement of parts is such a big problem for field service companies. The goal for most field service companies is to have the right parts available to technicians before they arrive on site to perform the work so they can be completed efficiently. The challenge is that the nature of the field service work is dynamic. It is difficult to plan exactly what parts are needed to complete a job because the schedule of work orders change or a technician discovers different parts are needed at the customer site than what was listed on the work order. As a result, technicians often try to carry more stock than they need in order to reduce the chance of being bottlenecked by not having the required parts. Of course, this dynamic goes against basic inventory management principles, which suggest that you should only carry the stock that is needed because extra unused stock costs money, and that money could and should be reinvested in other parts of the business. Now, let's diagram how parts management looks like in field service and how digital solutions help facilitate this management. Obviously, it all starts with inventory sourced from the supply chain. But the inventory gets moved to multiple field service stocking locations. And these stocking locations are typically where the technicians pick up the parts that end up in their trunk stock. The technicians then perform the work at customer sites using the parts that were picked up from the stocking locations based on their scheduled set of work orders that they were assigned. And while that work is being performed, it is common for parts to be swapped out and initiate return merchandise authorizations, or RMAs, which send those return parts back to the depot for repair or inspection before folding itself back into inventory. And just to add one more wrinkle, the customer site itself can also be a stocking location where spare parts are kept. So to summarize, we have inventory that feeds into multiple stocking locations. Each stocking location can feed into multiple technician trunk stocks, and each technician can visit multiple customer locations using parts either from the trunk stock or from the stocking location at the customer site. And some parts may actually come back the other way in form of RMAs. Pretty simple, right? But let's focus on the technician in the field, here in the middle of the diagram. What happens if there's a change in schedule and new work is assigned requiring parts that the technician does not have? One option is for the technician to go back to the original stocking location. But leading field service companies enable their technicians with mobile apps to determine the fastest option to procure the needed parts based on nearby technicians' trunk stocks or what's available at the customer site, and then initiate the transfer of these parts digitally. And while digital tracking helps improve technician productivity, it also provides crucial visibility for the field service leader who is managing costs associated with stock replenishment based on the parts that are being used. Let's take an example where a technician transfers stock to others on his team who need it to complete their work. Without digitally tracking these transfers, the service leader may only see the technician returning back with fewer parts than what was used on his or her own work orders and conclude there is some inventory shrinkage happening, rather than knowing the team was actually sharing resources in the field to complete jobs efficiently. With the digital solution, the service leader has visibility on the spider web of directions that parts are traveling in the field so that they can use this data to improve the parts availability in the stocking locations. Furthermore, the leader is equipped to handle recall situations where the process can be expedited if the current location of recalled parts are known, whether in the technician or customer's possession, or if their parts were already returned via the RMA process. Now that we've outlined how a digital solution can help with parts management and field service, I'd like to point out 3 key areas where ServiceMax plays a big role as part of the solution. First, by offering a purpose-built mobile experience for technicians to visually locate, transfer, and consume parts. Second, by allowing for the automation of processes to avoid manual errors, such as auto-replenishment of stock and reordering of parts for return management. And third, by providing a digital trail of the movement of parts so there's visibility on where parts are or where they have been. And as a result of all these part capabilities, ServiceMax allows field service companies to measurably improve their first-time fix rate and increase customer satisfaction while also adhering to audit or compliance standards. I hope this MaxPert video on parts management was helpful. For more information, please visit www.servicemax.com and be on the lookout for the next MaxPert video.